Alright. I got myself a brisket rub here. It's got paprika, chili powder, homemade chili powder, dark brown sugar, cumin, Mexican oregano, salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, cayenne powder, and a little bit of coriander. I got myself like a 3.5, 4 pound brisket. I'm fixing to put on this chopping block here, and I'm gonna add this marinade to it, and I'm gonna put it in this Tupperware. This is the best Tupperware. I've had this thing for 40 years, 30 years anyway. It's great. It's the best marinade I ever had. Well, now outside of that vacuum thing I got, and I wrote Food Saver. We need a vacuum one this big. Anyway, they haven't replied back. Probably won't never get it. But I'm fixing to lay out a brisket, and I'm gonna let it marinate overnight. We'll be back. I want you to look at this brisket. This thing's right at 4 pounds or so. And the place where I bought it, they were fixing to trim this fat cap off. I said, what? Whoa! Don't go so fast. I said, I want that. And there's a little bit of a fat cap on the bottom of this thing, too. That was already trimmed. But this is the bottom shelf here. That's what I wanted. I'll eat on this for a couple of days. So what you got to do is just take a real sharp knife and just kind of score that fat cap. You don't have to cut through to the beef. Don't do that. Just kind of score it into a checkerboard, and then score it this way, score it that way, score it this way, score it that way, score it that way, so you get a checkerboard pattern in there. You see that? That's all down to the meat. But then I'm gonna put on this brisket rub, and I'm gonna turn it over and put it on the other side. There's my lovely assistant. So anyway, then we're gonna put it in that Tupperware marinator. And I'm going to start it about, probably around 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll let it cook to about 6. Alright. We'll show what it looks like after we get it rubbed. We'll be back. Well, anyway, I don't know if you can read that or not. That's brisket rub. I'll put it on the blog. Sometimes this thing focuses and sometimes it don't. Yeah, it's only a $75 camera anyway. Here is the brisket, 4 pounds, rubbed to perfection. Now I'm gonna put it over here in this Tupperware. You know, I had this Tupperware thing since probably about 1979 or 78. No, I was in the Navy 78, 79 or 80, I'm sure. Anyway, I've had it forever. It's got a bow in the middle. It's been washed through the dishwasher so much, but it hangs in there. All right, we're gonna let this sit till tomorrow at about 2 o'clock. I'm going to put it on the Smokinator. Say the Smokinator, baby.
Smokinator.
Smokinator 1000. And then we're gonna cook it. This thing will be wonderful. Alright. This is it till tomorrow. Good night. Okay, here's this thing. It's about 6 hours into the marinade. We'll look at it again tomorrow when it comes off the grill. Alright, we'll be back. Well, today's going to be a brisket cooking day. It's gorgeous, not a cloud in the sky. So, here's the old Smokinator. I'm going to take some of this Kingsford. I'm going to put, 40 or so pieces of charcoal in there. I got a piece of hickory there and a piece of hickory there, and I'm going to fill it up with charcoal. And I'm going to put 2 more pieces of hickory when it's about halfway full, and we'll show you when I get back. Beautiful day. Okay, I'm not sure. I never count how many pieces of charcoal I put in here. I think they say 48, but I got close to that. And I just make sure that water pan fits in there so snugly, and I leave enough space to drop 6 or 8 coals on each side. Then that takes about 45 minutes to an hour for this thing to get to where you can actually do something with it. I know but if you don't like, putzing around with something like this, then get you an electric one, but the stuff ain't going to be near as good. Alright. This is it for the Smokinator until we get it cranked up and running. Brisket. We'll be back. Okay, I've got 4 chunks of hickory. I'm going to give you some sizer. This size inside there, that's not very big. But that 4 chunks of hickory is all that will be needed to do this brisket, because even pork, chicken, you can over smoke, and that's the last thing you want to do. 4 pieces of hickory usually just does it just right. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, just took this brisket out of the refrigerator. I'm going to let it sit out for about an hour before I put it on and get enough time to get the grill good and hot. We'll cook it in these pans. I don't want to lose all that great juice that's going to come out of this meat here. Then I'm going to smoke it for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Then I'm going to cover it, and I'll probably finish it in the oven in there. But about a 2.5 to 3 hours of 4 pound piece of meat. 2.5 to 3 hours would be plenty of smoke for it. And just put it in a 225 degree oven for another 2 hours covered with tin foil. Then it's gonna be good. All right, we'll be back. Okay, I got some coals in there. About 3 minutes on this thing, and they're gonna be good. Then I just drop them in there. 45 minutes. That's good. And then I put on the brisket. We'll be back. Okay, I usually have a few left over. There's 5 little pieces there. I got them all stuffed in here. Plus, I put a few of the lit ones under the water tray. So I'm gonna cover this thing up. In 45 minutes or so, it's gonna be ready. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but the bottom vents, I meant to mention this, they're 3/4 of the way shut. The top vents are gonna be open about 1/4 of the way also. And then it's gonna get up to about 225 degrees, and it'll stay there. All right, we'll be back. Okay, you can see it's sitting on about 275. This thing today took off a little quicker because it's windy. Windy conditions, cool, rainy. I mean, it all affects these things. They're not you get used to it though. It's like that. Any kind of smoker you got, the weather conditions affects how it takes off, how it cooks. This one took off in about 25 minutes. It was ready instead of 45. It's been in there now about 45 minutes. I check it about every hour. I pull the lid off of it and stir the coals. Put more coals in it if it needs it. They usually don't. Anyway, we'll be back. Okay, once every hour we open it up, stir this around, doing all the big stirring, get the coals moved around. Okay, there we go. Then get this water jug, fill the water tray back up. Alright, she's starting to cook up real good. She's got some juice in that pan too. Alright, we'll be back. Another hour. Okay, that's it. 1 hour. Okay, I'm about 16 minutes into the second hour. This thing is sitting on 275 for 2 hours. Don't touch it. Just leave it like that. It's smoking, as you can see. It's great. The Smokinator, S-M-O-K-E Nator, S-O-M-O-K-E, maybe it's A-N-A-T-O-R. Anyway, just type it in Google. You'll find it. It's like $75. 22.5-inch grill. You can't beat it. I got a 4 pound. You can put a 10 pound brisket in here if you want, but I just always use 4 or 5 pounds, just 4 pounds a day. It's great. We'll be back. Okay, I just opened the lid. This is the start of hour number 3, and I did add 6 or 7 more briquettes to it because it's a little windy today, and it's burning the coals off a little quicker than I like, but it's alright. I just had some more briquettes to it, stirred the coals up, replenished the water, and I might even throw in a chunk of wood the next time around on the 4th hour. Alright, we'll be alright, this is at the end of the 3rd hour. Now, as you can see, this pan is full of juice, and I don't see why people let that escape. It's insanity. You got to keep that juice. Now, I'm going to cover this thing. You can finish it in the smoker if you want, but the smoker's done its job. This thing is, I wish you could smell it. And you see the score lines there where I scored it last night. This crust this is just pure wonderfulness right here. I'm going to cut that off because that'll get in the way with it. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a smoke ring on there that's to die for. Right there. Anyway, I'm going to cover this I'm going to leave it on this pan. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to put it in this 250 degree oven for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. And just let it really, I think I'm going to turn that down now. 225. Yeah. And we'll turn it down 225. Let it sit there. And we'll cover it up real tight. Because I don't want none of this goodness slipping out. Alright. When it's done, you're going to see the smoke ring. Alright. This is it for now. We'll be back. Okay. I have sealed. Another thing that's really important is seal this thing tight. Because you don't want anything escaping out of here. And I guarantee you, within 20 minutes, this whole entire house will smell like a barbecue restaurant. People walk in and go, oh my goodness, what's on the barbecue? That's what they'll say. Where's that dog of mine? Ah, darn it, she's probably asleep. Anyway, my little German amigo is not here. I've been working on this thing, well, actually since yesterday, but I tell you what, it tastes so good. Anyway, I gotta make it long. I'm trying to keep it short. We'll be back. Okay, this thing cooked almost 5 hours, 4.5 hours. And I filled it up 3 times with water. And I did put a few extra coals in there, but there's still quite a bit of heat. I mean, this thing will cook. If I wanted to leave it in this thing, I would have put another coal in there. It would still cook another 2 hours, even though I did put 6 or 7 other briquettes in there. And I did put another small piece of wood. And anyway, that's it. Smokinator 1000. I'm not going to smell it. I'm not going to spell it anymore because I can't spell. All right. This is it for the Smokinator. Okay. This thing is cooked since, I don't know, 1:30 this afternoon. Well, that's darn near 6 hours. 5.5 hours. By the time we eat it, I'm going to let it rest. See, it's still steaming. I just finished it off for the last 2 hours inside a 200 degree oven. I'm going to let it rest. Then, got some wonderful looking all juice down in there. Yeah, that's why I don't want all that. I don't want that stuff to bake off. Gonna let it rest, put it in the plate, slice it against the grain, and we're gonna see what it looks like. Let it rest for about 15 minutes. We'll be back. Okay, I want you to look. There's a smoke ring. You see that pink outer ring there? There you go. There's a smoke ring on this thing. I wish you could smell it. This is what you don't get with an electric smoker or one of those gas-powered smokers that you just put stuff in and you don't care about it. You don't get that loving ring there. Look at that. It is wonderful. I wish you could smell this. This is wonderful brisket. It's better than Bubba's. It's George's. It's Mus Grills. Look at her. The dog's wanting something too. Alright, here. Just a little bit. Let's cut a little piece off for her. Oh my goodness. She's going to love it. Watch. There she goes. Brisket for the dog. I want you to look at the smoke ring. There's barbecue sauce. I'll put some of this juice on there. This is it. We'll eat this for 2 days. Alright. This ends it. No more. We've done it. I'm proud. Goodbye. We'll pray.